Hi everyone. Hope you are doing good. And today, let's see how to run a Hello World application on Docker and how to host a ASP.NET application by creating a Docker image and running it on a container. So to start with, I will. I'm. I will do this demo in Docker Toolbox since I have Windows 10 Home Basic. And if you guys have Windows 10 Professional or above, you can download .NET for Windows and try the same steps. So once you install Docker Toolbox, this terminal will get installed, and when the terminal gets opened up, it will check whether the interactive shell is already available. If not, it will get downloaded from the Docker Cloud repo and will get installed on your local machine. And once it's completely set up, you will see this window where the default IP is shown here for any Docker environments or app hosting. And by default, the Docker will run on Linux, and in Docker for Windows, you'll have a facility to switch between a Windows container and a Linux container, which we'll see later in the upcoming videos. So, to start with, to run a sample Hello World application, the command is docker run hello -world. The hello -world is the predefined image that's present in the Docker repo on the cloud, and once we click enter, it will check whether the repository is already available locally. If not, it will fetch that from the cloud repo. So here, the repository got downloaded, and you can see the hello from Docker message, which is a sample console application that's being hosted and it's being run. So here, if you see it, the cloud library is this, or the library slash helloworld.com, and the hello from Docker is the response. So to download your own custom or predefined images from the cloud repository, you can visit this URL cloud.docker.com, which will have all the predefined templates like Docker core image, uh, the Linux image, or ASP.NET core image, or any of the images, pre-built images. For example, if I'm having a VM and if I have set up it with the .NET framework and few other components, and if I want to have the same pre-built image, then you can check browse the cloud URL, and if there are any packages available that can be downloaded and saved in your local environment. So now we can see how to run a ASP.NET Core application on a Linux environment as the base, which is the core OS, and on top of it, we will load it with the ASP.NET Core image so that we can run the web application on the Docker container hosted locally, which is also self-hosted, where you do not make any IAS changes or Internet Information Services settings or hosting configuration to be done, and it's self-hosted within Docker container. And the hosting, to browse your host, you need to browse it with this machine IP. Now if you see it here, in my local environment or in my local machine, I have a few images that I have downloaded from the uh, cloud repo and have it placed locally. And these are a couple of images: the Linux core image, the ASP.NET Core image, and the Node Linux image, which is a combination of both the Node package manager as as well as the Linux core image. So for this demo, we would require the Linux core image and the ASP.NET Core image to set up a .NET Core web app locally and run it successfully. So to load this image, we need to run the command, which is docker load less than linux core image.tgz. So this command will load this particular image, and it will take a couple of minutes to load. The Linux core image got loaded. Now let's load the ASP.NET Core image, and this will again take a couple of minutes. So now the prerequisites, which are the couple of images, got loaded, and next we can jump on to the creation of ASP.NET Core web app. So using the .NET new command, I have created the ASP.NET Core web app in my local environment, and this has all the default files that are being required to host a web application, the Hello World application of .NET Core web app. And addition to that, we have an additional file, which is the Docker file that's present on the same path under ASP.NET app. So this is the link between your Docker image, which we are going to create it next, a custom .NET image, which will have a web application with our changes that's to be hosted and to be run on the Docker container, so that a web application will get self-hosted in the environment. So for this, we need a Docker file. So Docker file is nothing but a set of instructions like your PowerShell script or any other script, so that what all the prerequisites that you have to do in a step-by-step process, so that all your images, predefined images, uh, will get bundled out with the ASP.NET application that you have created, and it in turn creates an entry point, which is nothing but a DLL uh, bundled out with all the information. And when you run the Docker command for to browse the web application, all the information is obtained from this DLL, and the output is being sent to the browser. So now let's build this particular application, so that all the steps are taken place to uh, using the Docker file to create a ASP.NET web application bundled. So next, let's navigate to the application path. And if I give a ls, you will find the Docker file. So this Docker file is the link, or is the couple between the Docker image or any of the Docker image that you created in the environment with the locally created application of your the locally created web application which you have it. So now let's build the application. So there is a command to build all your components into a DLL or an assembly, so that an image gets created in the Docker repo, in your local Docker repo. So here Docker build -t states that a new Docker image will get built in your environment in the name of Netcore Web API. So once I run it, it will execute all the steps that are present over here. So each and every line over here is a step. So what that that means over here is I need to um, get the local core image, Linux core image, which I've recently loaded, and my working directory is app. Copy all the CS project files that are being referred, which is my ASP.NET Core web application, and do the .NET restore so that all the packages that are specified in the CS project will get copied out into your output directory. So the next step is copy everything else that's being processed using your .NET Restore into an output directory. So this does mean like publishing all your files into a folder, so that that folder can be bundled out into a DLL, and you can create a .NET image, so that once you run that particular .NET image in your container, you can host this. You can self-host your application in Docker. So then let's go back to the window, and here you see like all the steps have got executed. The Linux core image, getting all the packages, copying them, and then bundling out into the out folder that's being specified over here. And the entry point would be the .NET DLL, the ASP.NET DLL, which is my project DLL. Now the image has got built into in the name of Netcore Web API, and to run that particular image, you need to specify the port number, all the required details, so that this particular Web API image, which is my ASP.NET Core web application, will get hosted, self-hosted on port 8080, and the IP address would be that of my Docker, which is 192.6.168.99.100. This is the default IP of my uh, Docker of my web application. But if you host the same, if you follow the same steps in your Docker for Windows, then the default IP will be your localhost. Since uh, this is a pre-release version of Docker for Windows, they have specifically pointed to a custom port, so that it will not harm any of the other ports of your machine. Since it was at the Docker for Toolbox, the Docker Toolbox was at the pre-release stage earlier. So now, by running this application, so here you can see the hosting environment production, and the root application is root path is /app, and the listening port is your port number colon 8080. So now, if you browse this particular port, here I'm refreshing it. If you browse the particular port, and once you navigate to the URL, you'll see the sample web application being hosted in your uh, local machine that runs on the Docker container, which is virtualized VM, or which is bundled VM within your machine. So, what's the biggest advantages of this using Docker containers and Docker images is like if you're having multiple versions or multiple sets of applications, and if you want to run them without any prior configuration, then this is a good platform to build your applications, build and run your applications. And thanks for watching, and we can see more of ASP.NET Core and Angular based applications being hosted on the Docker platform by creating their own custom images in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Please provide your comments in the feedback column below.